Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. Spring football right now in full swing with co-defensive coordinator Brian Norwood. Let's start here. You circle back to the Naval Academy. Obviously here one time before. Great relationship obviously with Coach Niumatalolo. Why the circle back here to the Naval Academy?
I tell you, sort of blessed opportunity, blessed times. I had an opportunity in between my stop here at the Academy in the mid-'90s to right now to really gain a wealth of knowledge, have a lot of unique experiences, raise children in different areas. But at the same time, Maryland is a big home for me. I mean, I started out here in Prince George's County, Maryland, so for Coach Niumatalolo to bring me back here to the Academy, offer this great opportunity, him and Brian Newberry, and just knowing the surroundings, knowing the great young men that they have here and the whole mission of the Academy, it's just a blessing in my stage of my career to be able to come back here.
Obviously in that time too, I mean, to be able to see your kids achieve what they've been able to achieve, obviously the game of football has meant, when you think about it, just been enormous.
Yes.
For your family. Can you kind of, gauge what football has really meant to you, obviously for your vocation, and obviously your children have obviously had a great time with the game as well?
No, absolutely. I mean, for me as a coach, I got into the coaching profession really because of the impact of coaches in my life, as well as my father and my family being around sports, and all that started here in Maryland, in Glenarm, Maryland. So being able to have sports such a big part of my life, I tell people now, I played college ball, did a lot of things, but my wife and her siblings, played sports. I now say most of my kids' athletic ability came from my wife's side of the family. It took me a long time to say that, but her brothers and all of them jump much higher than I do and move more athletically than I do. But it's really been a blessing for my kids to have the experiences that they've had, being able to coach them at different stops that I've made at Penn State, at Baylor, and then being both close enough to Penn State to see my son play at George Mason. My daughter danced there, and my son Zach have a short stint at GW and then out at Tulsa. Having my kids at the same campuses that I've been working at has really been a blessing.
I was going to say, some parents don't get that chance, especially in the job that you have, to be able to share what you do with the things that they do. Can you ever put a true value on what that means to be able to kind of keep that family dynamic together, and which sometimes can be tough times for families?
Right. No, it definitely can be. And I really consider myself blessed and fortunate to be able to work for some head coaches that saw a great value in family and being able to be involved with your children while you have a demanding job in the college profession, because you can actually do this 24/7. I mean, if you wanted to, you can always find things to do within the game of football. But having coaches that say, hey, get away, spend time with your family. It's okay to go to your kids' game. I mean, a wealth of coaches from, the Joe Paternos to the Dick Tomies and all across the expanses of my coaching profession. I've had head coaches that really have blessed me to be able to spend time with my family and be involved in their lives.
I was going to say, too, I mean, Coach Snyder, obviously Kansas State.
Yes.
You've worked with some who's in the business. What do you take most from them? Is it on-field stuff? Is it off-field stuff? Is it kind of both, as you've obviously, molded yourself as a coach through the years?
Right. You know what? It's a lot of things that are really off the field. Growing young people, strategically being able to, help young men be victorious. I sort of say victorious because that's a bigger word to me than winning. I mean, I think victories encompass losses, wins. From a biblical perspective, I think that's a huge deal. So I think the coaches that I've worked for, a lot of great coaches, just a bunch of real solid head coaches that I was able to give input and also take a lot of information that I could sort of wrap around, positive, negatives of all the different situations, and be able to sort of, mold it into each step that I've made. And I bring a little bit of every coach to every place that I go, and a lot of valuable lessons.
Is Mike Leach a genius?
Mike Leach is. Mike Leach is a unique young man. I say young because we met when I was coaching here at Navy. Myself and a guy named Mike Fanoga, Robin and I. Mike was coaching at Kentucky, but David Stan, who's a teammate of mine, of myself and Coach Niumatalolo, has been coaching ball in Japan forever. So I was working here, and he invited me to do a clinic out in Japan. So imagine being in Tokyo, Japan, doing a football clinic with Mike Leach, and two other Polynesian guys from back home in Hawaii, and we had a blast in the the people of Japan, the teams, the young men were amazing. How attentive and how much detail they took every word that came off your mouth, and it was really a rich experience. But also Mike Leach in Tokyo, I got stories. You know what I'm saying?
I bet you do. Obviously, you and Brian Newberry with the dynamic here are hoping to rewrite some stories here, and obviously with new staff members. How do you all gain chemistry? I'm sure even day by day right now during spring practice is so valuable for you guys. How do you all develop that chemistry as a coaching staff so when fall practice starts and as you get closer to obviously the games, you all are all on the same page?
Yeah, well, you know what? I think that all started by the selection that Coach Neil Matrololo made. I mean, I think he was really hands-on and evaluated the coaches that he hired. I had a chance to speak with Coach Newberry just on the phone and just hit it off from the first time I talked with him. You could tell he's a very detailed coach, very knowledgeable. You can see that by his resume. And when I say that, by the film and what he puts out as a coach, and then also a very humble coach that is passionate about what he does. So he made it very easy for me to sort of connect with his spirit and his vision of what he wants to do. So he's a very knowledgeable person, but he's also a person that really listens and wants input, and the staff really works well together. He was able to bring some tremendous coaches with him, with KD and PJ and Coach Hall. I mean, guys that he's worked with before that are great coaches and bigger than that, real solid people. So the work environment has been great. The players have bought in. I mean, I think the coaches that are on staff that recruited these guys, the coaches previously all did a great job. So we have some guys here that are really buying in. It's been a lot of fun.
Finally, I know obviously you and Kenny go back a long way. It's a great relationship there. You were here before once. While you observed what he did, obviously from afar, thoughts on what he has been able to build here, the great culture, and obviously a lot of winning football during his time here once he was obviously given his chance to be a head coach.
Yeah, you know what, and Kenny and I sort of laugh about it. We've been apart from each other for a while, When I was coaching here as an assistant, he was an assistant. We'd go at it in basketball over here, play tennis. We're very competitive.
And he'll still do that right now.
Anytime.
Anytime.
And we still go old school a little bit. I mean, I still got to get him on a ping pong table on the tennis court. So he has a very strategic game. So if he asks you to play, it means that he's either watched you or he knows that he can have a good chance of beating you. So I got to really pick my times to play him. But Kenny has really done a great job. I mean, being able to sit in the room now as a coach, listening to him as a head coach, his philosophy, what he's put together, his vision. The Bible says without a vision the people perish. He has a true vision for growing young people, and he's very purposeful in regards to how he does things and how he involves coaches, their families. It makes it a very comfortable environment to pursue success and victory.
All right, welcome back to Annapolis.
Thank you very much.
All right, Brian Norwood joining us here on the Navy Sports Magazine.